Hi everyone, and welcome to the Synapsewerx engineering channel. Today we have a very special guest from our integration and AI partner, Boomi. I'd like to introduce you to Ram. Now, I did write a short bio for Ram, but given our topic today, which is all about the new Boomi AI agents, I thought I'd ask an AI agent to give us Ram's bio. I'll let Ram decide if the AI agent has got it right or not. Now, the voice you are going to hear is very cinematic, probably more cinematic than I am at the moment. And it's one that I've actually been working with on a separate project over the last couple of days. So I thought this would be fun. Let's give it a go. Hopefully this works.
Ram Tallavajhala is a seasoned strategic client architect and senior solutions consultant with over 15 years of experience in solution architecture, data modeling, design analysis, and complex integration projects. With a master's degree in computing from Western Sydney University, Ram has served in pivotal roles across industries such as education, finance, government, telecom, and retail within the Asia-Pacific (APJ) region. In his current role at Boomi, Ram has spent more than 6 years assisting enterprise clients with technical pre-sales, running proof of concepts, RFPs, demos, and workshops. His technical proficiency includes Boomi, IBM Integration Bus, WebSphere MQ, Sterling Integrator, and various automation tools like Jenkins, Puppet, Chef, and IBM Urban Code. Throughout his career, Ram has demonstrated strong leadership, managing teams of developers and testers to achieve high standards in system and application integration testing, particularly with the Boomi platform. Known for his strategic approach and commitment to client success, he excels in facilitating smooth onboarding and high-impact solutions for major accounts.
So there we go. Welcome, Ram.
Thanks very much, Malcolm. And Carlos, nice to meet you. Look, I think it's got it right, almost 80% there. I think it's gotten most of its content from LinkedIn, which is
Yes.
where all that IBM Urban Code and Chef and Puppet stuff comes from, because back in the day, that was the it thing at the end. But yeah, great. Thank you very much for that, Malcolm. I appreciate that. But yeah, so a few things here and there, but all right.
No, I'm sure it's not perfect. I'll tell you that I used ChatGPT, which, by the way, does not. It's blocked from reading LinkedIn now. So I just had to do a bit of a screen scrape and shove it into a PDF and then fed it into GPT. That's the summary it came up with, and I fed that then into 11 Labs. So the voice is completely AI. The summary of your bio is completely AI. Obviously, the source was 100% RAM. But it's really interesting. I also tried just for comparison, Perplexity. Perplexity seems to think that you work for Perplexity and have done for the last 20 years. So I thought Perplexity is hallucinating a little bit and is not very good with bios. Look, Ram, great to have you here today, and really looking forward to what we're going to talk about. We also have Carlos. Carlos is obviously CTO and Chief Architect here at Synapsewerx. Again, I did write a bio for Carlos, but I thought I didn't want to leave him out, so I thought I would get AI to write one for Carlos too. So here we go. Let's see if it's on point, Carlos.
Carlos Rodriguez Iturria is an accomplished chief architect and chief technology officer, renowned for his expertise in AI data and integration. With a career spanning over 2 decades, Carlos is dedicated to designing secure, scalable, and reliable technology solutions that bridge the gap between people and technology, fostering collaboration with clients and partners to drive meaningful business outcomes. Currently serving at Synapsewerx, Carlos leads strategic AI and data initiatives, ensuring data integrity and advancing cybersecurity to support clients' growth in a dynamic technological landscape. His previous roles include Global Specialist Lead at Salesforce, promoting MuleSoft API management. Carlos's certifications in AI, cloud, and integration technologies, including recent accreditations with Databricks and AWS, emphasize his commitment to innovation and mentoring within the tech community.
So there you go. Welcome, Carlos.
I'm very happy.
So,
Yeah.
how was it? Was it on point?
It was 100% on point until it hallucinated a little bit at the end, but it was, I would say, 99% on point.
Okay.
It was very good, very good. I felt very, very, very important in that description, actually.
Look, so guys, welcome. We're going to have a little chat today. Reason why we are here today is because back in June, I think it was, Boomi announced their initial 6 AI agents to the marketplace for them to be fully integrated to the Boomi platform. And as I understand it, they're available to all Boomi customers without any additional charge, which is kind of really nice to see. And look, given the transition to the next wave of AI innovation, which I feel that we're all feeling and seeing now, it's all about AI agents, what they can do for us. And I thought it'd be great to have a chat today about Boomi AI agents. Maybe have a deep dive, look into what they can do for us, and hopefully we'll also have a chance to see a bit of a demo on some of the Boomi AI agents a little bit later too, Ram.
Yep. That's awesome. That's great to chat with you guys today about that, actually. We can't be more excited about these agents that we're releasing pretty much every quarter by the looks of it now. And full credit to the product team and the leadership right from Steve and Ed. Actually, it's great to be in Boomi these days. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of really exciting. Carlos, look, out of curiosity, like all of our customers, everyone we talk to, everyone's talking about AI agents. Everyone wants to do something called meaningful AI, which probably means different things for different people. But from your point of view, is it all hype? Are agents really gonna make a difference to our lives and our work?
I do believe so. I'm a true believer that tools will just keep evolving and providing us with better capabilities to do our job better and better and better. And I think this is exactly what we are seeing right now. Probably it is costing so much attention because the tools that we are talking about right now are pretty smart, pretty intelligent tools that blow us away all the time. And the reality is that everybody, like a couple of years ago when GPT OpenAI came out with an option so that anyone can start realizing and testing what generative AI is all about. That's when everybody started realizing, as if AI was something really new. Not knowing that it's been decades since AI has been around and doing a very good job actually. But the reality is that having and feeling all of these tools are in front of us give us this ability and this need to try it. And we are seeing most organizations trying these tools and trying to do something meaningful with these tools. But then there are a couple of challenges that we also see ahead. One in particular, every time we talk to our clients, they always say that everybody seems to be experimenting with AI, with different tools, and they don't feel comfortable because, like, can we put some controls? What controls can we put in place to ensure that this doesn't go out of control? Security and governance is super important. And now imagine that you have a super intelligent tool that is not only understanding data better than you, but also talking about data and processing data better than you. How can you protect that? How can you ensure that the data maintains secure and within the proper boundaries of controls? And then the other thing as well that we see with organization, and this is what I would be very keen to also hear from Ram today, is that the whole aspect of ensuring that the right enterprise and controls are in place to ensure that organizations can get the right business value out of their AI explorations, which again, to me, it is the next big thing. Everybody can play with ChatGPT, but how different is it going to be depending on whether you are University A versus University B, or you are retailer A versus retailer B? How are you going to differentiate? There has to be something else that is going to provide an ability to take AI and make it meaningful for your business and ensure that you have the right governance in place to ensure that you can do it safely. So to me, these are things that are in my head and that get me very excited because we have the tools available to us. We just need to know which ones they are and how to use them properly.
Yeah, look, I think that's a really good point, right? I think we talked earlier about data and data being king for AI. We talked about Boomi and how Boomi has Data Hub that gives us access to this data. And I think, trying to do meaningful AI, like key success factors for you, that's obviously data quality. But there's a lot of stories out there in the industry about just how experimental AI is kind of failing in some cases. Sometimes they're taking use cases that are just too simple and not really adding enough value. You see a lot of easy access to chat capability, but when it's not done well, it doesn't always work. RAG is another great Gen AI use case that's really hyped and really popular at the moment. And look, we use a bit of it ourselves internally, but again, it needs to be considered, and it all comes back to data. It all comes back to having the right data and then the right controls and mechanisms in place. So look, Carlos, quick question before we get into Boomi AI agents. We know, talking to our customers, some of them are experimenting. Some really just have no idea where to start, but they've got this directive by the board to say, go do something meaningful with AI. And by the way, we don't mean ChatGPT. Do something that's core to our business. You talked about differentiating in the industry. I think it's really key, right? We can all go out and just get ChatGPT and start using it. We all love it, by the way. Don't get me wrong, but when you look at it from an organizational point of view, what is it that's going to differentiate you? Is it the way you do business? Is it how you interact with your customers? And what makes you unique? What's key to your organization? And all of this, I think, comes back down to the data.
Absolutely.
If you're a Coles or a Woolworths, what differentiates you? The data, your customers, the relationship that you have with them and your suppliers, and all of this could be stored in Boomi Data Hub, for example. And that data being used, all that historical data being used to train proprietary language models. And by that, I mean, yes, large language models, but the more traditional ones too, for anomaly detection and time series and all that good stuff. And in the case of our hackathon, facial recognition. But is that proprietary data, do you think then, Carlos, that really helps an organization differentiate themselves?
Definitely. Data is at the center. It is the heart of what is going to make viable, meaningful AI for an organization or not. But there is another aspect as well. And this is something that is very important. And you just mentioned that before, Malcolm. Depending on different sources, you are going to see different numbers, but it's always very high. The true reality is that the majority of the AI exploration today fails. Well, at least fails to go to production because it basically doesn't end up being the right use cases. At Synapsewerx, we have this thing that we call goldilocks zone. That it is, multiple dimensions of when to choose, how to choose the right use cases for your organization. And there are three particular dimensions that we always talk to our clients because they are super important. The way you choose right now, especially if you're at an early stage from an AI agent or AI exploration, it is very important that you choose the right use case. So the right use case has to be, obviously, with the first dimension, that is what you just mentioned before, Malcolm, it is the business value. if it is not going to provide the right business value, if the business value is way too low, it is never going to become a meaningful AI for your organization. So the value has to be good enough, high enough. The second dimension is the complexity of the use case. There are a lot of great ideas out there, but some of those ideas are basically just going to take way too long to accomplish, or simply the technology may not be right now at a maturity level to provide the ability to make those use cases. So if the idea or the use case is way too complex, again, it is probably not going to make it in the first code to production.
Yeah.
And the third dimension that we see is the risk, the level of risk. So if the idea is with enough business value, if it's probably not too complex, but it represents a very, very high risk for the organization, most likely, again, it is not going to make the code to production. However, if we choose, and sometimes ideas are great, and sometimes they just need to be, broken down into smaller stages. And when you just do that, then you are able to take that idea with the right amount of data that is going to feed the idea, to feed the use case, that is going to provide the right business value, to provide the right level of complexity, and at the right level of risk. And then it is within that Goldilocks zone that we believe it is the right use case that any organization will be successful starting with. And then guess what? There's going to be a second use case and a third use case. And as more use cases start coming up and moving into production, the organization is going to be more mature. We'll have those controls in place. We'll start getting the business value that they require, and they will be ready, and technology will be ready to start taking to those more complex use cases.
An interesting insight of what Carlos was just about to, or what just said, was that, look, I 100% agree with what you just said, but I guess from an enterprise perspective, when you look at any of those use cases, any of those wide array of use cases that customers are really excited about, I guess I personally look at it from two different aspects, right? So one aspect is, do you really need Gen AI to solve those use cases in the first place? Is the first question that you need to ask, or that anyone needs to ask. Because more often than not, you may get away without using Gen AI for that. You don't really need to have that. So given that delineation is done, then you go into those value propositions, right? Because you may be able to solve most of those use cases with your normal tool sets that are available to you right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Right. Now, once you get that base level delineation done, to say, right, that is the use case, then you go about looking at what Carlos was just saying, right? So great, awesome. Now, this is the use case. Now, which of all of these kind of use cases are going to give me high impact, and to what more Carlos was saying, low risk? You take up the low risk, look at the high impact use cases, and start delivering smaller bits and pieces to the enterprise, so that the enterprise and the business sees the value of it, and then you slowly ramp it up. You don't go off and build Ben-Hur right from the start. You just go and build small short films. That's what puts you on the map, and then you start building, right? And I think our head of AI and research, Mike Bachman, keeps saying this all the time. I mean, I know you guys have had
Yeah.
great chats with him as well. Is that that's what he preaches all the time? Is that you don't go about building big use cases straight out of the bat. You go pick the smallest one, get started, get your feet dirty, get your hands dirty, get ready to go, get your data ready. That's the important bit too. And again, I'll just go off script a bit here, but those intros that we did was almost there, but it missed a few important bits. The reason being the data was incomplete. Because the data was incomplete, the bio did not, although it sounded fantastic, the data that backed the voice was incomplete,
Yeah.
because obviously what we fed to them was a bit incomplete. Why? Because the data was taken from a previous point in time. So if we are able to get the data right, get the data in the right place with the right combination of different sources of information for then an LLM or GenAI to summarize, then we'll have pretty much right up about 95, 98% of the time, right? But you still have to have your data, right? To Carlos's point, it's absolutely key before you even get started with any of your GenAI use cases. Get your data right where it needs to be, clean it, cleanse it, enrich it, deduplicate it before you feed it into the GenAI. That's the important bit. If you do that, then I think most of the time the GenAI use cases will be successful, give or take.
I think you're spot on, Ram, and I think we talk a lot about data and data quality. Absolutely fundamental. Without the right data, you're not going to be able to train models properly. If you can't train the models, they're not going to be effective. And I think this is one of the pitfalls that we're seeing in general in the industry. There's a lot of people running out there saying, yeah, that's fine, just give me what you've got and we'll do something, it'll be fine, because Gen AI is bloody amazing and these GPTs are really cool at what they do. I think there's lots of real considerations here, though, and this is the thought process that customers need to go through. I think this is the value that between us all we can add to clients out there. Just if they get anything out of the video today in the chat that we're having, it's like, focus on your data, right? Really think about what you're going to do. Certainly small bite-sized chunks. We call it continuous value realization. Just because we like 3-letter acronyms, but I think doing something that releases value, that releases it quickly, that releases it in an affordable way, and doing that in a considered way with good quality data, it's key. I think the other thing for me is some customers we talk to have this digital transformation kind of ethos in them still. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I think, but AI requires, and AI agents in particular, if you're going to get value out of them quickly, requires a slightly different thought process, in my opinion. So digital transformation typically says, okay, I've got to put the right key systems in place, and then I've got to think about all my data and my data quality, or think about your data, hopefully, as you're doing your digital transformation. I'm going to spend millions, probably. Some of the enterprise organizations that we work with actually spend hundreds of millions of dollars over a period of time, over 5 or 10 years, putting their digital transformation program in place. I spoke to someone recently who said to me, hey, Malk, look, it's great talking about AI. I love the conversation, especially over a nice wine, for example. But honestly, I've got to get Salesforce in, and then I've got to sort out my data plan and strategy before I can even think about doing AI. And it's like, yeah, well, I think the world is going to pass you by if you don't start thinking about it now. And so we're big advocates for, you don't have to go to this big bang digital transformation. Look, I think you called it Ben-Hur. Great movie, by the way. It's a long time since I've heard that movie, but I remember that from my childhood. But you don't have to do this big thing, right? We can look at a use case. We can look at finding the right use case. We can think about the key data items that are in that workflow and focus on those data items. Let's just put the right infrastructure then in place and the right tooling and capability. So, for example, big advocates of Boomi Data Hub. We've said it loads today, but what that can do for you, you don't have to do this big bang thing with Data Hub for the whole organization. Just do the bits that you need for this use case. Let's get that bit right. Let's get that data working up to gold standard, because that's really going to help drive real-time autonomous decision-making of an AI agent, and using good quality data. It's going to improve accuracy. It's going to improve success within the organization. It's going to add better value more quickly. And anyway, so I agree. I think data is kind of key, right? Very key.
Yeah, just to give you a quick metric on that, I've been working on a GenAI use case internally in Boomi just for our teams to use, and I kid you not, about 92. I just did some calculations just before this catch up. 92% of the time I spent designing and building that app or that project went into data manipulation, cleansing, and enrichment. And this was the real kind of real use case. So we had the corpus of data sitting somewhere, but I had to source it, clean it, make it ready for my use case, make it clean, make it consumable, make it security aware, make sure all the classifications are put in place. All of that stuff was about 92% of the time I spent on that. The other
Yeah.
8% was the easy bit. It was just like, okay, build an app with Boomi, of course, Boomi on Boomi.
Yeah.
It was easy. Building a data model, easy. Looking up, connecting the systems, easy. Talking to an AI agent, easy. Talking to an LLM, easy. All of that stuff is the easy bit. The hardest bit was to get the data ready, and that is where I think is most of the value being spent will be taken care of, because once you get that value out, the other execution becomes that much more easier.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. And just to extend to what you just mentioned, Ram, that by the way, I totally agree. Getting the data right is super important. And the way in which you can get the data right with Boomi Data Hub, for example, is even better, because you don't just get it right once, but basically you get it right and you establish the rules in place so that as the data keeps changing in the different systems
Yes.
of records, the data will always remain up to date with high quality and high data currency in Data Hub, so that you can continue doing those important near real time business
Yep.
decisions without really worrying that the data is out of sync, or the data is not properly enriched, or the data is not synchronized properly. It is always going to be the right data to make your intelligent decisions, and that is the to me the core part of any AI project or any Gen AI project, whether we are talking about training a model or fine tuning a model, or whether we are talking RAG. Still the data is going to be the most important part of everything,
Yes.
because if the data is wrong, the output is going to be wrong. But if you keep the data and you simplify, and maybe you are going to put 92% of your effort at the beginning to ensure that the data is right and it's going to remain right, then the next part is going to be the easy part, and the outcome is always going to be accurate.
Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good chat, gents. I'm conscious of time. We might run over a little bit. I'm not sure how you are for time, Ram and Carlos. So, this podcast actually ended up being significantly longer than any of us had intended, mostly because there's so much goodness to talk about in relation to the Boomi platform where AI agents are concerned, but also because, well, we just kind of love to talk. So, rather than editing out all of the fun bits from this podcast, we've split it up into 3 separate but linked episodes. Hopefully, you can get to hear all the great things we have to talk about, and in slightly better bite-sized chunks. Now, without giving too much away, here's what you can look forward to in the next episode. Just click the link in the playlist to listen to the next part of our chat and enjoy. Each of these agents, as a standalone agent, are phenomenal in what they do. They add a massive amount of value.
Up to date, cataloged, searchable across the organization. Now, that is awesome.
Allows you to interact with it and change it, but again, using words, not necessarily clicks anymore.
Or the enterprise security team goes, well, okay, what's happening with the platform? There's a lot of information, there's a lot of data flowing through. How can you know what kind of information is flying?
What you just described right now, Ram, really gave me goosebumps, because this is pretty cool.
And oh my God, it's like dynamite. It's like it's something that takes it to a different level.